Hello, welcome back in Drawing by Observation. Today like I promised you, I'm gonna take you into the third dimension. When we drew our surround spheres, we created depth and volume with shadow and highlights. Also, in perspective, we took our first notes on depth and distance. So today we're gonna talk more about depth, distance, and our third dimension. Here I have a picture of a car. In this picture of a car, we can think already that this car is like a box. It's a square form. To start drawing this car, we first draw our horizontal, or eye line. You see, everything is horizontal on the eye line. Then we drew the box and the converging lines from the top into our vanishing point and from the bottom also into our vanishing point. Then we close the back sides of this high and wide car. Here we have the back side, and here we have the front side. And we can already see that this line, who is closer to us, is longer than this side, who is far away from us. Let's transport ourselves into space and also back in time, like before we draw a picture. Here we are in a theater. We're waiting, we're 20 minutes too early to see a good science fiction play, and we see already a promising rectangle, the screen. We see the ceiling, converging lines into the rectangle. We see all the seats and the wall. From the wall we can also already see that this piece who holds the ceiling is longer than this piece farther away from us and closer to the rectangle. From the people we can see that this person, he doesn't disturb us, he's not in our view, but he's bigger than this person. From the seats we can see all the seats who are in front. Very, very little. And closer to us, they get bigger. We are sitting right here. If we look at the lights, we see that they are also converging into that centered rectangle. Here the lights are bigger than here. And on the other side, it's the same. So let's make a drawing with a conclusion of all this knowledge. Here we don't always got to be inside to have a nice picture of a rectangle. Here we have the exits of our driveway, and who also goes into the rectangle, and the road concentric to the rectangle. And everything we see in front is big, and far away is very little and detailed. So let's draw what we learned till now. We have our horizontal, we have the rectangle. When we draw the diagonals, and we draw those diagonals longer out, and I color in where we were talking about, the sides. It's like the rectangle gets bigger and bigger. And we see space. Now it looks like a hall with a clear spot at the end. Remember when you were at school and you had to make a picture of a road, an endless road, remember, with the big trees in the front? And then closer to that endless point, the horizon, we had little trees. Did you realize that this was your first picture to understand something about depth and distance? Close to you, big, far away, little. Did you also realize that you were standing right in the middle of the road? So let's go and sit on the side of the road. Here we're sitting on the left side of the road. And we can see that the telephone poles we see here, that in front of us it's high, more little, little, very little, into endless. What we also can read from this picture, eye line, everything is horizontal, and into this converging movement, we can see that the poles farther away always get closer to each other. So if we draw that, we get our horizontal, the pole in front, the pole farther away, more little, and then concentric into an endless horizon. Let's go to the other side of the road. On the other side of the road, we can see on our left side the telephone poles were converging. And our horizon is very easy, is like the beach, the sea line, the sea horizontal. And we see that this pole is long, shorter, and closer to each other, and more closer. And then converging into endless depth. If we draw this, we start with our horizontal horizon, the pole the closest to us, farther away from us, closer to each other, and the poles converging, and then we draw in everything we see, step by step. Here we have a different angle. Here we are at a turning, winding road, and there is an undefined direction. Everything what is close to us is very big, and everything what is farther away is smaller, and it goes here in the other direction, and it gets more closer to each other and farther away. We draw it like this, here to here on our horizon. We see it's converging like that, and then we have the other direction into undefined, the pole always closer, more little, to each other. Till here. Now we already got a good idea about distance and depth, but we don't always gonna have vertical lines for us to see how deep it goes and what's the distance of everything. So we have to figure it out before we start drawing. And with tones, you can also create depth. You have to see before you start drawing. And we can also see depth in the dimension. Dimension creates depth. Here I have a nice picture also of the beach with grass in the front and the boat. And everything is happening under my horizon. To draw this picture, we can measure it, because in our picture we can see that the boat can be on the grass and the grass can be in the boat. So if we see a scenery like this, we measure. We take our pencil in our straight arm, and we look at our pencil, and with our thumb, we measure. We look at the grass, and we see how long is the grass till here. And then we draw it. We see that long is the grass, so we draw it only this long. If we do the same, looking at the boat, we measure, and it's only this short, the boat I see far away there. And I can already imagine that this distance can go 3 times into the grass. I see the boat is only this distance. So this exercise, measuring all the time, is a very good exercise to learn about distance and depth, measuring it before you draw. So from this we learned that depth you have with dimension and different plans that you draw.
Dibujando por observación. Estudie el arte del dibujo básico, en libro o videocassette, en su librería más cercana. El curso completo en una sola obra, Dibujando por observación.